So yesterday we left it from here, and in this video we are going to do these 2 labs, and I hope I can complete that into the half hour. Alright, so let me just access the lab, which I already done it here, and there is our username and password. So what we are trying to do is just going to follow the to-do list. Alright, so admin, what kind of output we get? It is saying invalid username or password. That means what we are going to try next is we will be trying that does the website is checking for username first and then password. Alright, we are trying to find does that's the case. Okay, so let me just do that, admin, and send it to my burp suite. So let's see what happens. Okay, we have admin here and what we are trying is we are going to do a brute force on the username. We are trying to enumerate what is the actual username. First we will find the username, and then we are going to find the password. So again, if you remember, we did this previously. We set the very long password, so that way it takes time for website to process it, and we can identify between timing using the response time difference. Okay. Now you should be able to understand whatever the step I am doing, even if I am not saying it. Okay, you should be able to understand this. I will do it slow. So it is saying invalid username or password everywhere, right? It is not blocking our attack. Alright, so that is very good. It is not blocking our attack, but there is also no difference in timing. Let's just see. Okay, I haven't opened the timing column, but let's see. There is no difference in timing also, right? These 3 are the same, so that can be potentially those 3 can be potentially our password. So we can save them as our user list or possible targets, and all of them are kind of like, okay, so no, we cannot say that that is actually the actual username. So if this kind of thing happens where you are not able to sure, or where this sending a very long response, a very long password, and hoping for to get a long response time does not work, and nothing else work, then only option you have left is to do a cluster bomb attack. Alright, that's the only option you have left, and that is exactly what I am going to do. If website is not blocking our attack, so we don't need to worry about that. We can just go with cluster bomb, and we can just try every different password for every different username. Alright, that is what cluster bomb attack means. So let's just set the payload, and 2 we will copy the passwords. Okay, as you can see, we will be doing 10,000 hits, right? We are going to do a 10,000 payload test. So it just 100 username and 100 password, and we are going to do this many requests. So you probably now need to understand why I am keep saying that they narrow down the username, narrow down the username list, narrow down the password list, and brute force is not going to work at all. Alright, if your target is stupid, only then the brute force is going to work. Other than that, brute force, the chances of brute force is actually working is very less. What you will end up doing is that you will just do a DDoS attack. That's what's going to happen. So let's start the attack and see what happens. It is of course going to take time, right? Let's just observe it. So as you can see, for each payload we are trying every password, right? That is what cluster bomb attack means. See, here is something new. This user got kind of like, why does this happen? What it says that you have made too many incorrect login. Alright, so website is actually blocking our IP address, okay, for brute force. Let's check if this happens only on the same username. Yes, it happens on the same username. So let me just pause the attack. Alright, this is odd. What is happening right now is that website is actually blocking our brute force attack on this specific username, which is ArcSite. That means this is potentially, this can be our username. All right, I am not saying that this is 100% our username, but this can be our username because website is only blocking here. Let me just continue again. I don't want to be wrong in this one. So if after this ArcSite completes, we are probably going to have next username. So if in the next username this error does not pops up, that means this is our username. All right, so let me just resume the attack. No, so error is not coming on any other username, it is only coming on that username. So we are just going to pause the attack, and now I think we actually found the username here. This shouldn't have been working like this, but it is kind of like it worked. So let's just say ArcSite. All right, so that's our username potentially. All right, I'm still not sure. ArcSite is our username, and now we are just going to do a brute force. So we will just use sniper attack, right? And in payloads, clear passwords, paste, and let's start the attack. Okay, now so this is definitely our username. All right, it is blocking each and every of our brute force. It is blocking every brute force. Okay, wait, here is something new. So see, this password does not get any response in output, right? It did not got any error. So that means website has very big flaw, right? Even if you are entering many wrong inputs on the same username, it is still allowing to log in if you enter the correct one. All right, it is not blocking your trying access at all. What normally should have been happening is that the account should have been temporarily disabled for actually 1 minute. All right, no next request should have been gone successful. Even if you enter the right password, it shouldn't be working, but it is working. That means this is our username. All right, cluster, this is probably our username. Let's see, in response we got nothing else, right? If we render it, okay, we received nothing in the response. Congratulations, you solved the lab. That is just my lab, right? Okay, so I think this is the password. Let's go here and ARCSIGHT ArcSite, and password is going to be our login. Yes, that was the password. This was very unusual. But this is what you should be looking for. Actually, you should also be looking for the response times. All right, you should be looking for all of the data as much you can, and there is cookies also. Is there something in cookie? Nothing. All right, so you should be looking at everything at the same time, so in order to understand is there any difference or not. Okay, so we solved this lab. Now we are going for the next one, and next one was kind of like a pretty advanced level lab, but it's fine, I will be able to do it on this video, of course. broken brute force protection. Okay, so we already have our victim name, which is Carlos, and we are trying to hack it. Okay, we need to just access the Carlos account, so it's pretty straightforward. We will just do a simple brute force attack with the password, and it is going to work, right? It should have been disabled. I am not doing proper practice. I think I haven't solved this one, but I think we will be able to do it. So let's try. Carlos 1234. What is the output we get? Incorrect username or password. Alright, so in this case we don't need to find the username, right? So we are just directly going for a brute force on the password. Okay, Carlos anything verb suite send. Okay, so they are using the JSON here. Send to intruder, forward, stop intruder. Okay, so we need to do brute force here, password, right? And add password, payloads, paste, no. 11 minutes. All right, so I think I will be able to solve this in half an hour. We will be able to complete the video. All right, let's start the attack. It is blocking our login attempts, all right, and it is also not saying, it is also not giving a blank output on the correct login. So this one is actually blocking our attack. Okay, unlike previous one, this one is actually blocking our entire attack. Even if there is a correct password from here, it is still saying invalid. You have made too many login attempts. Okay, so in this case what we are going to do, we are just going to check for X forwarded 4. If that does not work, then we will just, the only thing we will have left is work around here. Alright, so before we do that, let me just try this. Okay, so if they are saying password, then I can just set in just an extra, I can just set this. What I mean here, it is JSON, right? So we can do this also. I can just send, okay, let me just send it to the repeater and we are going to see what happens. Okay, it is not rejecting our malformed entry at all, like it is allowing this, right? I added the wrong entry and it is still allowing this. If I do like this, then it is still allowing, right? Yes, it is not rejecting our request at all. So rather than bypassing the brute force protection, what we can do, we can just add all of the password here. All right, and of course it is going to work. If the website is kind of like checking like this from, just understand this is very basic code. This is not the actual code website is probably going to use, but kind of like it may be using from input. Why there is space? Okay, from input, let's say website is doing kind of like input passwords, and then it is checking. All right, so this is probably what's happening right now. I can add all of our passwords and it will work. All right, so let's just go with that. We have our password list where it is lab password. Yes. Oh, okay, I cannot do that directly, so I will just need to make Python list I array this. Yes, so it actually did very well. All right, so for JavaScript, it created for the JavaScript. So we can just delete this, Control V, and we have correct format. All right, let me send it now. So what kind of response we get? We actually found the password. All right, we did not found the password, but we got the cookie by which we can log in, right? As you can see, we successfully did it. Like 302 found, our password is found from that. So website is probably was doing like this. Okay, if here I can do like website is probably like checking like this input from the input or whatever request we set. It is probably doing kind of like this password, and there is going to be check from the database is equal to database password, right? Kind of like this. This is what's happening. So we actually got the cookie, and what I can do is just I can set it here, session, Ctrl V, save, refresh. Okay, so yes, we successfully logged in, right? So this was it. As wherever there is JSON, all right, you should always try this one. So we completed the beginner levels password attacks, and I wanted to start the SQL injection series for the login bypass, but right now I have decided that we will be continuing with the 2FA codes, then the reset password link hack, which is that is very interesting. All right, the way reset password spoofing works is very interesting. So we are going to do that, and of course you are going to find that. Okay. So the reset password vulnerability you are going to find in current modern websites too. So that's why we are going to continue from that, and then we will go with the SQL injection, and then potentially I will start the video series with the password OSINT, or I will start the open source intelligence series. But for right now, this covers our session. In the next video, we are going to do for multi-factor authentication. 17 minutes. Yeah, that's fine.